Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Magical Mischief Tour. Today we're continuing on with a little bit more Pixie fun, probably going to be doing a whole bunch more Evilcraft and what that may involve, which can take us in all sorts of directions. We might also even do a little dimensional exploring. We'll see how things go. But yes, in case you forgot, we had lost a Pixie, but thankfully because we ended up doing that contract with her, we can resummon her again, and it's no problem. She's back, and she's just fine. In fact, I believe, yeah. So the problem was I needed to have a bunch of a lot more. A few, meaning 3, wasn't enough, and I think I had to have them in my inventory. So that was my fault. Not the pixies. Our house is coming along so nicely. We should provide the trees with the correct colors, don't you think? Otherwise it's going to be a boring and gray world, and we see plenty of that during the winter. Darling, could you craft some dyes to add to our fabulous color palette? I don't think that'll be a problem. I think, in fact, I might have some dyes. Yep, I do have some. I don't know if I just need to have them or if I need to actually craft them, but I'm going to just grab a bunch of... Wait, orange. We need orange. That seems like a more appropriate color group. How you doing? Nope, apparently I need to craft some dyes, which that's not a problem either, because, I've got plenty in here. Not to mention all the colors that I've been kind of storing up back here along the back of the house, just kind of growing up some plants for situations just like this. But let's see if she does that. Oh, I've been keeping the cursed tome nearby for when it turns to nighttime, just for the benefits of that, so I don't get spammed by mobs. It's really nice. I also put the Fey altar out here with its own little Fey wood altar setup. I don't know, I just wanted to make it a little bit better than it was, and I also made some glowstone grass to put underneath it so it look a little bit more natural. So let's try crafting some of these and see if this is enough. I just need to be near her, I think, and then even then, is that going to be... Yep, that did it. Those are some nice colors. You've got good taste. Let's give all the happy little trees some color. Nice little Bob Ross action there. To make sure they're not alone, let's give all of them a little friend. Don't you agree, darling? And that implies basically you should grow some trees and stuff. But that's the end of the quest line for them. She gave me some autumn tree saplings just in case I didn't have any already. Thank you very much. It's very nice of you, and I now have my speed and wind walk. It's super kind. And when you plant one of these things and you grow it, it'll grow all this stuff around it randomly, plus some of the tree trunk mushrooms. There we go. Just making up some of the arcane gold ingots. I was running a bit low. I think I only had 2 left. Yeah, I only have 2 left, which is kind of sad. But I now have some gold inlay. I was thinking, jumping into Evilcraft, but really quick before I do that, I wanted to finish upgrading our altar for Eidolon. And in fact, can I get a little bit more water in here? There we go. That's better. I can put this away. So I did exchange out the stone altars, or the wood altar for the stone altars, which does kind of dress it up a bit. I kind of miss the whole carpet, idea, or like a table runner or something across it, but it still looks cool nonetheless. And we're going to be replacing this straw effigy with a little bit more of an improved one. So if I look up the use for the unholy symbol, which we unlocked previously, and I look on here, there we go, this is what we're looking for here. I just need some kind of regular stone, smooth stone, unholy symbol, and a gold inlay in this work table here. So let's try this out. Shouldn't be too difficult to make. Try number 2, and there we go. Elder statue get. Oh, and it didn't use the unholy symbol. That's even better. I'll put that in there for future use. And then we can just knock that out of the way and put it there. Oh, that looks so much more professional. Look at that. He's very excited about having this wither rose here. And we can even, we could use the straw effigy as decoration if we want, but I think I'm just going to put it in the system. And there we go. That is now set up. I have a couple more pigs in here for future sacrifices. I also have the blood ready and waiting, as I did one there. And I also made this kind of the Evilcraft area. Oh, really? Are you going to get upset with me? But you can see that it's got the blood splattering around everywhere up here. And I was thinking I should be able to take advantage of some of this stuff with some Evilcraft and then constantly get this refilled. And for that, we're going to want a Sanguinary Pedestal. And it says here, drains blood from bloodstains in the area. Now, it will need something to store it in, so we're also probably going to be making a dark tank, if I don't already have any. It looks like I don't have any dark tank supplies here, but that's okay. There we go, one Sanguinary Pedestal, simply made from dark blocks and more dark gems, which those are just dark blocks there. And if you look here, there's also another one, like a red one. A powered one drains more blood from bloodstains in the area. I think I might actually upgrade to that. So I'm going to need 5 of the dark power gems, which shouldn't be too bad to make. If I open this up, I can grab those 5 there, put them in the Blood Infuser, and then I can just fill these dark gems with that blood and make the new upgrade. In the meantime, I'm going to make a dark tank so that I can store the blood that it is going to be harvesting. Now you can just make this one here that's going to be 16 buckets, or you can make this one that's 144, and it just requires a couple blocks of the dark gems, some kind of glass, and then of course a couple blocks of iron, which shouldn't be too difficult, assuming I've made a couple dark gem blocks. Oh geez, I'm going to need more dark gems soon. Looks like I will have to go mining for something at the very least, but I do have this now, and that is done. I did do a little bit of the murdering of a lot of mobs down in my mob farm for a bit. Not like a fantastic mob farm by any means, but I mean, having 4 spawners is pretty darn good when you compare it to vanilla stuff. So I think I can still take these away and it'll still do the stuff. And I think, I'm trying to remember how everything works here. I put this here, and it should, yep, it'll start filling up this dark tank automatically, and it just starts absorbing it. So as the drips fall, the pedestal will grab it and put it in here. And, excuse me, then you can just grab your blood extractor and, whoops, fill it as needed, which actually that is already full. So that's... and it already has some still in it. This is great. Okay, so this is never-ending blood supply that I don't need to worry as much about anymore. And I realize that this is not the upgraded version either, so I'm going to take this out of here, because I just saw that I still had these in my inventory. Oh, it's a dark powered gem block that I need. Oh, alright, well I don't have enough of those at the moment. I will have to go mining for more dark gems. But I do have a way that I'm thinking I can go and find those things, but it's a bit longer of a quest line, and it actually gets into a little bit of the tech that's in this mod pack. Why did I just... oh, am I invisible? I'm invisible. Thanks, Hades, for weird stuff. You're such a weird dude, but hey, okay. I can see it now, like Hades is up there just like, okay, or excuse me, down there, and he's all like...
oh, you know what he's gonna love? I'm gonna make him invisible for like a minute or two. He's gonna love that.
But let's see if this new altar works properly, shall we? Still have my book here. I've already got the symbols set up for sacrifice animal, which I did do that. And that's eye, arrow's eye. So let's see about that. Nice. Okay. Everything seems to be functioning as it should. Okay, so the key for me to make a whole bunch of really powerful weapons, armor, transfer, enchantments, and things like that is going to, I think, rely upon the Blook, which is a bloody book, basically. It's a book that's been soaked in blood, and it makes it a Blook. But in order to do so, we're going to need a promise of tenacity. And these are kind of upgrades for the Blood Infuser. It can take all sorts of different kind of upgrades, but it's definitely going to be worthwhile for me to start making some of these. So let's put this on the list of things to do over here and take that one off, and later on as I mine up some more of those gems, I'll upgrade my powered Sanguinary Pedestal. But for now, this is fine. I'm going to need a bowl of promises, and if you notice here, it's scrolling through the different tiers. You don't have to have a tier 2 or 3 or anything. You can just start off with a tier 0, which is very, very important. I'm going to put that on there because that's going to be a lot easier, and it only takes 5 buckets of blood then. But then we need a dusted bowl of promises in order to make that, and that's made from crushed dark gems and a bowl of empty promises. You can see there's a little bit of a quest chain here, but I mean, these are permanent upgrades that I'm going to be crafting. Oh, plus some of those dark gems that I just made, so that's going to work. Let's start off with those, shall we? do this and make bowl of empty promises. Then a dusted bowl of promises. You notice that it's a shapeless recipe, so that shouldn't be a problem. But to make the next part, I need 5,000 millibuckets of blood. So let's put that in the infuser, and it should over time slowly convert into a bowl of promises tier 0, which the contents will get used up, but the bowl won't. And that's going to take care of just the bowl. Next, of course, spider eyes are going to be easy, but an iron promise acceptor. That's just going to be a block of iron in the same blood infuser. And you notice how slow this is going? You can actually upgrade that as well, but we'll get into the upgrades in that as we continue. Oh, all right, Hades, that's the first really nice reward you've given me. Iker, that's really good stuff. We'll put that in the system for now. There we go, 1 bowl of promises, done. Toss in a block of iron, and that'll be a second. Let me grab out this blood extractor and put it in here just to make sure that there's enough, because the recipe won't even start unless it has enough blood in the system in order for it to begin. Now, if you notice when you look up the Promise of Tenacity, and yes, it just made an iron promise acceptor, but the Promise of Tenacity, which is the thing we're working towards at the moment, it's usable in these different items: the Blood Infuser, Colossal Blood Chest, Sanguinary Environmental Accumulator, Spirit Furnace, and Spirit Reanimator. It's a machine tier upgrade, and it increases the tank capacity. So right now, it's only holding 10 buckets of blood. Yoink, I'm going to grab that. And then I just need to make one of these. Let's do this in the system here. Simple crafting recipe. There we go. When I put this in here, you'll notice that it will, dink, just increase the amount in here. Wow, times 2, but it was only at 10,000. That's 4,000. Okay, well, I guess that times 2 is actually times 4. And you'll notice another slot has also opened. This means you can upgrade this further. And you notice that there's things like Promise of Velocity, which increases the machine speed. But this one here, the Promise of Productivity, is really important. Blood Efficiency. It uses less blood as you progress. So if you're struggling to meet these requirements because you don't have enough blood or something like that, this is probably the one that you want to work towards. And of course, that's the Iron Promise Acceptor we just made, a Lapis Lazuli block, and a Bowl of Promises. But it does need to be at least tier 1, which is a little bit more interesting, I guess you could say, because you need to have a Promise of Tenacity in the system already, at least. All right, so putting this Dusted Bowl of Promises back in here with a Promise of Tenacity 1 should increase the tier that this is created in. There we go. I now have a Bowl of Promises, and it is indeed tier 1. All right, there we go. I now have that as well. Add in 1 lapis block, and I get a Promise of Productivity, which will increase or decrease the amount of blood used, but you still need to have the total blood for making something. So when I was making that Iron Promise Acceptor, there we go. I put that in there. It now upgrades it, and it needs like 5 buckets of blood in order to do it. You still need to have at least 5 buckets of blood in your blood infuser for it to start working, even though it's going to use like 50% less. So just keep that in mind, that you still need to have a decent amount in there. So as I'm making my Promise of Velocity, which is pretty much the same thing again, an Iron Promise Acceptor, at least a tier 1 Bowl of Promises, and in this case a block of redstone instead of lapis, to double the speed, it's not going to work because I don't have another slot that I can put this in. So I'm going to need to upgrade my Promise of Tenacity to a Promise of Tenacity 2. And this will enhance the amount of space that I have in the tank in order to, add in more upgrades, which is just another Bowl of Promises tier 1 at least, then an Ender Pearl, and in this case a Gold Promise Acceptor, which is just a block of gold being, infused with blood. There we go, 1 Promise of Velocity all set. And you can already see that the blood from my blood extractor has drastically been reduced. You need to have a good supply of blood. And that's why just having this tank up above is probably going to be a good idea in general, so that I can refill this as needed. Would you stop yelling at me? So rude. Alright, so rather than save the blood, because I'm not as worried about it right now, I feel like I've got a pretty decent amount. I'm going with the Promise of Velocity, just because this one, the block of gold, being turned into a Gold Promise, is a Gold Promise Acceptor, is very slow. And I'm pretty sure it'll actually use up the entire amount in this entire blood infuser, which does make me think twice about that, but too late now. There we go. That's a big chunk. There we go. Promise of Tenacity 2. And in this case, I think I just replace this Can I even put this one in here? No, no, your old promise of tenacity does not work there. So now I can have both of these. I can have efficiency and speed, as well as, just increased space. Now there is another level above that, and that's the promise of tenacity 3, which it allows your tank capacity to be increased considerably more still, and it requires 160 buckets of blood, which, yeah, I don't have that much. Actually, it might be close, because this is still filling this up. But it'll require at least that much just to fill it up. Oh my goodness. I might as well do it though, and then I don't need to worry about upgrading stuff later on. It will require an Eye of Ender, Diamond Promise Acceptor, which I think will also take quite some time to infuse. But I now have my Promise of Tenacity 2, so not a problem. There we go, just a little bit of slaughtering later. As you can see, my inventory is filled with all sorts of weird stuff. Ooh, Thieves' Hood, let's put that in there to repair. And I should be able to, yep, there we go, infuse this into a diamond, promise acceptor. While this is processing, I feel I should mention, I'm pretty sure that the promise of velocity and the promise of productivity, you can also stack these in these slots as well. So you can have multiples of them instead of just the singles that I have here. But as I'm trying to maximize the amount of blood just so I can get my highest tier level in here, I feel like this is about as much as I can afford at the moment. Suddenly my massive stores of blood seem like a pittance once you really start getting into the mod. And there we go, 1 Diamond Promise Acceptor, and you notice that it didn't use up all of the blood that was in there, but it did need to have at least 160 in there to start. Now I also have some Condensed Blood that I've been just finding in chests and stuff like that. And you can put it in here just for some quick blood as well. I forgot about that, and I've got stacks of it back at the base. Yeah, look at all this stuff. I'm going to take all these and bring them over. And how did you get out of the... Oh, is it because I got attacked earlier you came out? Oh. Anyway, let's put a whole stack in here. And you can see, yep, it's filling it up quite well. So we're at 96,000, or 96 buckets, or 96 and a third buckets. Toss in a stack. We basically get about 32 buckets worth of blood from the condensed blood. So that's pretty good. There we go, 1 Promise of Tenacity 3. And my bowl of empty promises is once again empty. But if I put this in here, it should, yep, upgrade it considerably and use up all the rest of the condensed blood I had in there. So let's take this out, put the rest of this in here, and I can easily just use up all the rest of the condensed blood that I have in the system. And this opens up even more space. And we still have plenty of blood, actually. We've got over 200,000 buckets to work with here, so that's not a problem. And this is mostly full. And of course, that's still full. I think it's got like 3 buckets worth in it. No big deal. Now, these promises may come in handy in some Evilcraft machinery that we may get into later on. I'm not entirely certain. But for now, they're just going to be sitting in the system. And not that I really needed to upgrade this stuff quite as far as I did in order to make Blooks, but I am still going to do that at this point. Putting one in here, you can see it's simple enough. Just uses up a little bit of the blood, and it makes a Blook. So there we go. I have put the book, or Blook, in this purifier, and let's see if we can find some kind of weapon that's enchanted. Alright, I've got this golden sword with knockback 2, sharpness 3, and looting 2. That looks pretty good for us to experiment with. So let's take this, put this in here, and see what happens. Okay, I now have... Okay, it took all of the stuff off of there for the first level, which was sharpness 3. So if I put this in with another Blook, again, oh, it's out of blood as well, so I'm going to need my my blood extractor to fill that up, just so that it can do that. And then do I get the knockback 2 then next? There we go. That's, yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Yep, there we have it. All right, so let's try something a little bit more cheeky. I've got a power 10 bow. Now, I know that I already have a power 10 bow, but I'd rather see how this works, considering that it may not. Let's grab this, put that in there, take the power 10 bow and put it in place. And the bow is unenchanted. The book is power 10. Now let's see if I can, if it actually gives me the option of re-enchanting it. So if I take this bow and the power 10, yeah, it just costs 10 XP. Wow. Okay. That's really good. Okay. So I could make Oh my gosh. Oh, but this has infinity and... Okay. Certain things might be difficult to make work. Infinity and mending, for example. But still, I could feasibly make a better bow if I'm not really too bothered with like in mending or something like that. And I could use all of those enchants on this better bow instead of your standard vanilla one. But I also have all of those different weapon mods and stuff like that too. Oh, so I'm going to put these enchants in here for now because I don't really want to lose them. And I do have quite a bit of XP currently stored up in my Crystal of Memories. But I am thinking that for me to make some really powerful stuff, I would like to try and make a really powerful Tetra weapon. And for that, I'm going to look for Pendorite, which I think is in the Nether. So I've got a little bit of food. I've got all my supplies and everything, and I'm thinking, oh, it's so different when I've got like night vision going on. But I'm thinking that we go into the Nether and see if I can find this biome that we're looking for. And that is the Ember Bog, which is, oh, the biomes you'll go. Oh, it's actually not that far away. It's in that direction. I wonder if this is it way over here. I mean, it kind of looks like it's... No, that's that biome over there. Maybe it's something else entirely that I can't really see very well. Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to try and head off in this direction, and we'll see where it takes me. Oh, hey, I think we found the biome we're looking for here. Oh, it's a little bit dangerous, and I just landed in lava, of all things, of course. Wow, okay, yeah, this is a really dangerous biome. But I'm looking for Pendorite, which it should be an ore. Ember gel blocks. Ow! What are you doing? Stop that. Get wrecked. Okay, so we're going to, or I'm going to start digging in the walls, I think, and see what I can find, though it does look like there may be, geez, lava everywhere around this place. Maybe I just keep going up until I can't find any more lava areas, and then I try mining from there. But yeah, we're going to do break area. Wait, what is that? Blue nether quartz ore. Okay. Okay, this spell is like tremendous. Alright, so I've created quite a wasteland, but I have not come across any just in the regular mining in a straight line at this Y level. I don't know what Y level it's going to be at, so it could be going up was a poor move. So, I've been mining for a bit, thinking I would find some of this ore that should be throughout this biome, but I am not finding much, if any. In fact, you can see I've been doing a bit of digging. Yeah, it's not just down as well. I also dug up and kind of went sideways and all sorts of stuff. So what I think we're going to do is switch gears at this point. And we are going to kind of get into a little bit of tech in order to help us find more magic. So first, let's recall. And the tech that I'm talking about is kind of a little bit of a quest chain in order to get to. It's not too bad, but it will take some time and maybe even more than this episode. And that is so that we can make ourselves a scannable scanner. And if you look up scannable in here, it adds in the scanner, which allows you to search for ores. If you have a sample of it, you can search specifically for one ore or something like that. But you can also search for just rare ones, like diamonds or emeralds or something like that. And I think that this ore will probably fall into that category. You can also use it to find entities and other stuff like that. But it does need to be recharged. Which leads me to Immersive Engineering, because there is a charging station. Now this does require a little bit of prep. That will require copper coil blocks, some treated wood planks, which I don't know if we even have any, some LV wire connectors, and some iron and glass. So that's not too bad, but we also will need a power source for it to actually charge things with. So then there's the idea of, well, in Immersive Engineering, what are the methods that are available to me to make power? There's actually quite a few. One of which is a water wheel. Another one is a thermoelectric generator. Then, of course, there's even more advanced methods. But I think as far as simple methods, there's also a windmill that we could go with. Any of those three are very feasible. And I'm thinking that either the windmill or the water wheel are probably going to be the easiest, though we do have to have creosote in order to make those. If we go with the thermoelectric generator, it's not so bad, but it does require some steel and Constantan, which is a little bit of a blockade for us as well. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have to make ourselves some kind of coke oven and then put in some wood and get ourselves creosote through that method. And then we can use that to make the treated wood. Now I may have found some. I don't know if I found any. Wait, actually, was that all I found? Wow, I haven't found any of the immersive houses in villages. That's a rare thing. All right, well, I could also go with industrial hemp seeds. And I think, haven't I been growing some of those already? I have, so I have plenty of industrial hemp fiber. This is actually really good news. I might be able to go with a windmill. That does look like it's going to have to go with a whole lot of treated wood planks and sticks regardless. So rather than going around at all the different villages trying to find a little immersive engineering building and perhaps getting a few of these pieces, I think we're just going to have to commit to it and set ourselves up a way of making creosote. I was mistaken. I did end up finding one, and this is all the stuff that I have from that. 17 treated sticks, which I don't think is going to be enough, because even water wheels require planks as well, though it is a starting point. So in order to start, we're going to need a bunch of coke bricks. I believe we need 27 of them to make this 3x3x3 cube, but I have a bunch of bricks. I just don't have any clay. I have some clay blocks. I guess I could probably break those up. Here's the thing though, is that if I were to break them up normally, I don't think that I would get the full amount back. So instead, I'm going to chop them up. I guess maybe I need an axe. Is that? Yep. Nope. No, that worked. But this axe acts a little bit funky, so let's get a different one. It's because it needed a shovel and not an axe. That was probably the main problem. So I'm just going to convert these all into clay. And it would appear that the last pieces I need are actually going to be any kind of sandstone for the centerpiece. So I am going to need to go get a little bit of sand. Not a problem. So I believe my break area spell should still work underwater. There we go, more than enough sandstone for what I'm going to be needing it for. But I can now put it in here and make a bunch of these. There we go, 27 coke bricks. That should be more than enough. Now I just need a spot to put it. I think this spot here kind of fits it quite nicely, in fact. I like the idea that this is going to be kind of encased in a bunch of the ruins in the area. There we go. And that is not complete. I still need a hammer, which I can't remember if I have one in that chest. I don't, so I ended up making one. It was actually a relatively simple recipe of just iron and sticks with some string, but now I can right click on here and we have ourselves a coke oven. I'm going to start off by tossing in some blocks of coal in here, and that should get it going. It will convert the coal into coal coke, which actually is much better than regular coal, and it will give us an offshoot of creosote, which we're going to need for, well, basically for making the treated wood and planks and stuff like that. Now, this isn't going to be something that I'm really going to be focusing much on because this is more a magic pack, but it does add some low tech to it, and you can really go crazy with immersive engineering if you so desire. There's tons in here that you can make it into more an industrial, like a Magitech version if you want, and that is entirely up to you. But I think I'm going to focus more around the magic-y part. Now this will take some time for it to process, and if you want it to go faster, you just put in like pieces of coal instead of blocks. So if you've got other stuff to do, now's the time to do it. Now I'm making a dark tank. In this case, I just want to make sure that it gets all the fuel that is possible, because this can only hold 12 buckets worth. And if I put this in here, it should fill this up. Once it's full, then it'll come to the output, and it'll still have an overflow of another 12 buckets. So this should be pretty good. This will allow me to get on with some other stuff. And one last thing before we call it quits, I'm going to upgrade this, because I did do a little bit of mining. I also ended up taking the enchantment off of my other pick and putting it on my Pickarang so that this now has fortune. But I'm going to grab this, and we're going to use it in this recipe for making the upgrade for it, the Sanguinary altar. First, a dark power gem block. Then we move everything over here, and we get this upgraded version, which should be getting us even more blood from this tree as it goes. And remember, if just because this tank, it's a huge tank, you don't see much in there. It looks like it's kind of like having some Z fighting issues going on. There's still quite a bit in there. Like, I've got nothing in the blood extractor right now. Clicking on there gave me a bucket's worth. And it's just, there we go, just this little tiny glitch of a line. It can hold 224 buckets worth, which is going to be a lot of little lines in there. So keep that in mind. It'll probably have more in there than it looks like. And with that, I think we're going to call it here. I know that there was kind of like a jumping around of a few small mods here, and we're kind of touching on a bunch of them, but we are going to be making as much ultimate gear as possible, and it will take a little bit of preparation, and I'm looking forward to doing that, especially since this outfit isn't holding up as it used to. I'm going to be getting into Mana and Artifice again, just so that I can get my levels up in that mod, and maybe even get to some really fantastical armor that it has to offer. So if you enjoyed this, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, don't be afraid to click the notification bell, and come visit us on Twitch. And until next time, folks, I'll see ya.